Morning, Lexiat's here, Raptor Freak. It's Sunday morning, so that means it's time for a Sunday special report. And today's special report is going to be centered around the rumors that Toronto Raptors, or Toronto, the city, is in the final runnings for an expansion team for a WNBA franchise, and that by the end of the year, the WNBA will decide two teams to expand to off of a short list of six. And that I'll tell you what, I think that Toronto has a very good chance in this six-team field as far as things. As far as I feel like our city is one of the biggest economic drivers on out of the teams on the list. There's a couple of cities that have a good chance. Like San Francisco with the Golden State Warriors has a pretty good chance of getting a team. And then the other teams are like Nashville, Vegas, I think, is on the list. No, wait, Vegas already has a team. Their other teams aren't as impressive, but really San Francisco and Toronto, they probably have the best chance. Good morning, Tom Duke. Let's go Raptorettes. Now, Tom, I don't know about Raptorettes. I mean, because in the name Raptorettes, you have the word Tourette's. And I don't know if that works. I was trying to think of what would be a good nickname for the team. I kind of like the name Tritops, Toronto Tritops, like Triceratops, and do something like that, like something with the Triceratops dinosaur involved in it. For some reason, I see that for some. I have a little bit of vision for the future, and for some reason, I see a Tritops, like a Triceratops dinosaur as the mascot, and they're called the Tritops. So I don't know. Good morning, Sue. Good to see you, Sue. Hope you've been very well and enjoying the nice weather here in the GTA right now. Such good weather. Last night, very interesting stuff at Scarborough Shooting Stars' first game of the season. We saw some big time sports stars from here in Toronto in attendance, along with the global ambassador and the hands of death, Mr. John Attilia, sitting to the left of Scotty Barnes, young Big Roy, going to see the Scarborough game this week. That was really, really cool that Scotty came to the game last night, the first ever home game of the Scarborough Shooting Stars. And of course, Drake was there wearing a J. Cole jersey, and just it could have gone way better for the two stars of the Shooting Stars. J. Cole didn't get a single stat last night. He didn't score, he didn't get an assist, he didn't get a rebound, he didn't do nothing on the court last night. And then Jalen Harris, I'm sorry, Paul, I am so sorry, man, but Jalen, this dude's not good enough to play in the NBA. I'm sorry. If he can't score in the CEBL and he's getting putting up games like he has so far in this season, there's no way he's going to make the Raptors at this point, because he looked really, really bad last night also. And he had all eyes on him. Like, if there was a night to be big time, and, they had a vibe in that building, apparently. Like, this, people were saying something is happening in this building with the CEBL. It's just too bad that their stars didn't show up. And honestly, Scarborough's been losing a lot. I think it was the Honey Badgers they were playing last night, the Hamilton Honey Badgers. What a great name. But yeah, and then the mascot for the Shooting Stars is really weird. It's like this blue six. It reminds me of like a cartoon from like Sesame Street, teaching you the number six or something like that. The mascot for them, but it's just great and cool in general to have more basketball in Canada and in Toronto specifically, and that this Scarborough team's going to be a huge success, even if their players are not playing that well. Watch. Because it looked like it was a cool vibe. The place was packed and did really well. But as I'm saying, basketball in general growing in the States is really good. The other two people that were there was the big pitcher for Blue Jays, and there was a maple leaf that was at the game last night, also in Scarborough. But basketball expanding in Canada is very signified by the possible entry of the WNBA coming here. And then maybe part of the reason why we haven't had any WNBA here yet is that there's forces here that are pushing basketball away from being here, like hockey, and then there's also forces in the States that don't necessarily want us to get the expansion team here, because they know that this puts more roots in for the Toronto Raptors franchise as a whole. If they have a WNBA sister team that is here also, that makes it a lot harder in any kind of way to root it and throw it out of the league in some ways. So there's different reasons for why different people may have resistance towards Toronto getting a WNBA team. But I'll tell you what, the match is made in heaven. The money's right. The facilities are right. I was doing research about where the WNBA would play. It's more likely that they will play in the Air Canada Center because most of the teams in the WNBA do play in their NBA teams arena and stuff like that. So especially if MLSE is involved in ownership of this team, they will definitely be playing in Air Canada Center, Scotiabank Arena. And that'll be awesome. That'll be great because it'll mean more work for my friends in the concessions, food and beverage concession stands at Air Canada Center, Scotiabank Arena. I keep saying Air Canada Center today. And that means they'll get more work during the summer because sometimes there's a lot of dates that are open during the summertime. If there's not a concert, if there's not some sort of other event, then these people don't get to go to work. And that WNBA will provide more employment and more work for people that work at the arena. So yeah, all right, let's see. G saying Jalen Harris doesn't look great, but Scotty was there. Yeah, really cool to see Scotty there. And some people were freaking out because like, what? A Toronto Raptor is in Toronto on the off season? Oh my God. Well, he's been back for a week. He came back last Sunday and he's been doing all kinds of cool stuff around Toronto since. Like seriously, when I was watching him on Twitch last week, I was telling him, I said, one of the things I said to Scotty was Toronto is yours forever if you choose to want it. Is basically what I said to him. I said, Toronto is yours forever. It's just like Kyle. Kyle, Toronto is yours forever if you choose to want it. And basically that means don't screw us over like Vince Carter. Don't do anything like weird with like your decisions and don't turn your back on us like Chris Bosh. So Scotty, like I said again on the Twitch, this city is yours forever if you choose to want it to have as forever, because it'll be yours. You'll have the golden key, like the key they give to the person, the mayor gives it to the person or the city. You will have the key to Toronto and you can do whatever you want, especially if you have John Attilia standing next to you, man who could kill someone with his bare hands or any object that's nearby. This is what John Attilia can do. And I was so happy to see him sitting there with Scotty because that man will protect Scotty wherever he goes. And maybe while he's in Toronto, John's just like, hey, I'll shadow you. I'll be hanging out with you. And that's cool. That's great. All right, let's see. Tom Duke saying 11% field goal shooting for Harris so far. Yeah, that is really bad. Like you're not just even talking about last night. You're talking about in the 3 games he's played so far. Is something like that. It's not good. It's really, really not good. Jalen Harris, this is what I'm saying. I didn't have any faith in you to show because I don't think you're serious enough. And you're not showing the chops right now on the CEBL level. How the hell are you going to make it to the NBA if you can't even play in that league right now? So it's not good. It's not good. Yeah, Sue's saying that's a bad start. Yeah, and I have to agree. So getting back more to the WNBA stuff. Well, one more thing, just real quick, before I really deep dive in the WNBA stuff. Gary Trent Jr. has not been doing much on social media since we ended the season. He posted something yesterday talking about his season and some pictures from the season. And he said straight up, he's insulted because he did not get a single defensive all NBA defensive team vote. And I think he has a good gripe. Like, honestly, I mean, we saw Fred's name get 1 vote there. He should have been at least like Fred and got 1. But like, this is the thing. Our guys are going to need to get hungrier and just go out there and force them to recognize them for these kind of awards and stuff. And Gary, also, you got to understand, you didn't have the reputation as a defensive player before this year. That this really has been an unlocking year for you this past season, and that is part of the reason why maybe you didn't get any consideration. Because maybe some people are saying, well, we want to see this again next season, and then maybe we'll look at it. Because you were in the league leaders of steals, and I do think you have a case for sure. I'm very biased towards Toronto, but the rest of the league is always behind. And they do not pay attention until they really have to. So you need to go out there and make them pay attention and make them put you on an all defensive team next year. Yeah, that'll be really good. Yeah, G's saying, oh, yes, Gary was not happening about not getting a vote. Yeah, I mean, that's good because this is the kind of locker room fodder, like on bulletin board kind of stuff for Gary to be like pissed off and say, I'll prove you. Like, they give him a chip on his shoulder. and see what happens next year. He does it a lot the same thing with the steals and the really dogged defense, and boom, they have to pay attention. They should. Sue's saying Scotty sounds like Scotty really wants to weave himself in broader TO culture. This is a great sign. Wants to be connected to the city. Yeah, it really is really revealing in the chats in the Twitch is, listen, this man was a Jamaica man. Like he really embraces his Jamaican roots. And this is part of the whole thing with, like, Toronto has a very strong Jamaican culture here. There's a lot of Jamaican expats from Jamaica that have huge, strong bonds with Jamaica still, where they go back and forth, and relatives on both sides. So this city, a lot of cities in North America, this is a very Jamaican city in Toronto, and that puts him at ease and at home in some ways. That, like, the food, the culture is all very present here in Toronto, and that is something that he can find to have fun. It may be that he doesn't like the super hot weather of Florida. I mean, this is part of the reason why my parents are here in Toronto right now, is that they can't stand how hot it gets down in Florida. It's like some people love that beach, like stifling 90 degrees to 100 degrees Fahrenheit weather. It's humidity and all that stuff, but some people don't. And it could be that Scotty's like, hey, I want to come check out summer in Toronto and see what the weather is really like. Now, it's cooler than average right now, which kind of sucks, because I'd like to see him get like the warm weather without the humidity, the really nice sunny sunshine warm weather here and stuff like that. But hopefully he'll be here for a few weeks. Who knows how long he'll be here? It seems like he has no roots to what he wants to do as far as things. He may have an itinerary for the summer. He'll probably be playing in summer league because he's only a 2-year player, and he's the kind of guy that wants to take every advantage to play. So I think we're going to see Scotty play some in summer league this summer still and stuff. So it'll be interesting to see what his itinerary for the whole summer is. Let's see if he's still around in August and he's at Caravana and other big events around Toronto, because that's the other thing. He's probably very interested in the big, cool stuff to do around the city. Like, there's so many touristy kind of things to do. Yeah, go to the aquarium, go to Wonderland, go do, any of these street festivals or different food festivals and things that go on, jazz festival around Toronto, and check it all out, Scotty. And it is really cool that he was there. It really added a buzz. Him and Minot for the Blue Jays, and then there's one of the Leafs were there also. So yeah, it's very, very happy. He was not, okay. You're saying happy because of your comment up there, G. I'm happy that Scotty's in town too, Sue. I really am. Sue saying, I don't blame Gary for being upset. He did a great job on defense. This is very true. Gary was fantastic this year, but once again, it was a side of his game that we unlocked last year, and that they aren't used to it. And I think that's part of it. It's like you need to have a bit of a reputation that precedes you. And Gary, you're just starting that reputation, and it's got to precede you now. This may be the preceding part, and maybe next year you'll get the recognition that you do deserve. I agree with this. Tom Duke saying, never saw that. Gary Sr. has given his son a winning attitude. Gotta love that fire burning in him. Yeah. We were talking yesterday about how there's so many good players on the Raptors right now that people think we need to give one up in a flea market trade or something like that to help somebody else out. And Gary's another one of these guys that's kind of like not like really like hugely celebrated like Pascal and Scotty and Fred. And, I worry about that, but also understand that this could drive him to excel and be better and better and better and really, really try super hard, like to get more of the spotlight, to be more of a consistent scorer and be one of the guys on the team, the man on the team on certain nights where he absolutely takes over. We've seen that in the last year, and maybe more consistently he can do that. And then it raises him into the perception of where he is on the level as a player in the NBA. Stuff like that. Raymond Jacob is here. Question, Alexi, how does Florida get boring? Never been, or is it there's always something fun to do? Well, let's talk about West Palm Beach as far as things where Scotty lived and like grew up in, where he lives, like where he's from. It's not the same as Miami in some ways. Miami is further south than West Palm Beach, and West Palm Beach is kind of a suburb of Miami. And really, to get to Miami, you got to drive down south where all the clubs are. And really, the only things to do there is like, all right, do you like to golf? Well, go out and golf. It's like Precious Achua was golfing yesterday. He seemed like he was really having fun. He's like into wine and golf so far this off season. Precious, but if you like to golf, there's lots to do with that. Scotty didn't sound like he likes the beach. First of all, like that's one thing I've learned from the Twitch is that he's not really a big beach person. Like he doesn't like going down there and getting all sandy and getting in the water and stuff like that. He much rather be in a pool, is what it seems like. And then it's really club. Like it's basically the entertainment district of Toronto downtown where you live, Raymond. It's just a bunch of clubs and idiots out in the street drunk and partying is what Miami's nightlife is. And that there's not a whole lot to do as far as like he seems more like a grown up kid because he likes to play video games and like stuff. There's way more fun stuff to do here in that kind of mentality than down. It's more adult and more like nightclubs. And he's 20. He can't drink in Florida. He can drink here. That's another thing that's an interesting observation that I just thought of is he can drink in Toronto because he's over 19, but he can't drink in Florida because he's still 20 and like he's not 21. So that I don't know if that's a factor in. I don't think it's because he wants to booze or anything this summer, but that could be a little bit of part of it that he wanted to maybe have a little bit of party time and be able to drink legally here in Toronto. So that's maybe part of it. But what was Raymond, down there, it really is what you think it is. It's basically like these beach nightclubs where it's everybody's in slinky dresses and dressed up in white suits, and they're going and drinking champagne and standing out in like outdoor patios and stuff like that. And it's stuff like that. And everything in Miami also is all spread out. Like nothing's like a downtown core or anything. Like there may be a party area of town where there's a lot of clubs, but you have to drive everywhere. You can't just like kind of go places like you can in Toronto in different ways and stuff like that too. He can nightclub here too. It's 21 in the U.S. Yeah, that's a big part of it. I think Raymond is the age. I don't think it is though, because I don't think he's a partier or a drinker or anything. At least I hope he isn't. Like it's much better when an NBA player doesn't drink, like Charles Barkley. Charles Barkley's a notorious drunk. Like he would drink his face off all the time. But you got to realize how much damage it does to your body and how it has to recover just from you drinking. Because alcohol is poison. It actually really affects your brain and changes your body in some chemically ways. And if I was a sports athlete that was making millions of dollars and my body was the vessel for me to make that money, I wouldn't be messing around with it by drinking alcohol myself. Now, I don't drink alcohol anymore because I'm an alcoholic, but I really understand the difference between being an alcoholic and drinking a lot, how my body feels, and the difference when I don't. And that's the way I look at it with that. So I really hope it's not that's the reason why. But anyway, let's get back on topic. G saying, where's Precious golfing? I'm not sure where it was. The story is still up on his Instagram. G, if you want to go look at it, go and look in his stories. And you can, I think he has a tag in there somewhere saying where he is, but I didn't look that closely at it. I just kind of like saw, oh, Precious is out on the links and he's teeing off. So stuff like that. Let's see. Tom Duke saying, what is the time frame for WNBA being possibly NTO? I love this, Tom, getting us back on subject. Tom, you're such a co-producer with me. You keep me back online. You're like Gelman and Regis and Kathy, like pointing, like, do this, Regis. All right, yeah. Tom, this is the way it would work out. Is all right. By the end of the season, like they're having the WNBA season right now. It started in May. It runs till September is when the finals are, and they crown the champion. And that after the September championship is found, somewhere in the last 3 months of the year, they're going to announce the two cities that get the expansion teams. And if we are one of the ones that gets it, then next year, 2023 will be used as a prep year as far as like designing the logos, naming the team, doing all kinds of things, like figuring out all where they're going to play, everything about it, like hiring the personnel, the support staff around it, everything like that will be done next year. They won't play in the season next year, but they will play in the 2024 season. And there will be an expansion draft. The history of the WNBA has expansion drafts, and it is very interesting and fun. I love expansion drafts. I think they're a lot of fun. In fact, I was very curious to hear whether Masai Ujiri and Bobby Webster, Dan Tolzman, or anybody from the Raptors side will be involved in helping them evaluate talent. Like, I would love that. I think Masai would be very good at figuring out and helping the WNBA team get to the kind of excellence that the Raptors are at also, just because of it's Masai. It's trusted Masai. So I would be very curious to see like how they deal with the expansion draft. Because listen, when we look at the expansion draft for the Toronto Raptors in 1995, we did not really have a rhyme or reason to what Isaiah was doing. He just went and got a bunch of like big guys from different teams that were kind of There were more names that he liked, like Victor Alexander or Alvin Robertson. These were guys that he liked as a person, and not necessarily guys that really fit together for an expansion team. Like, you want to look at the Vegas Golden Knights and look at what they did. They were an expansion team and they went to the Stanley Cup Finals in their first year in the NHL. Big reason why was because they really did a smart thing in the expansion draft by getting players that really worked well together instantly. And that is something that I think would be really, really smart in the team building for a possible WNBA team in Toronto. That if we do really good work in the expansion draft of getting the right pieces, nothing duplicitous. Like, you go and get your first two expansion picks and they're both like small point guards and they're battling for a position. Why would you do that? No, get the different positions, fill out the team, and make them complementary to each other. And that's an area we did horrible with our expansion draft with the Raptors. Like, we've drafted a whole bunch of aging swing point guards, shooting guards, and then a bunch of big guys that were so slow. They couldn't do nothing. And then we drafted Damon Stoudemire, and he was the whole best part of our first year team. There were a couple other guys like Alvin Robertson, once again, a guy in Raptor history that I don't celebrate because of his issues with his domestic violence charges and things like that. But he is actually one of the only people in the NBA history that has gotten a quadruple double in the league. And that's something to celebrate. But Willie Anderson, Ed Pickney, John Sally, I can go over all the names that were drafted by the Raptors at that time and just how they didn't fit together. Maybe we can do that with the expansion draft for the WNBA. We could get a leg up and have a good chance to compete right away. Now, it's weird because the WNBA has expanded and contracted in all kinds of different ways since it began in 1996. They started with 8 teams and they had it up to like 14 teams at one point, but there was a period of time where they were losing money and they had to fold a bunch of the franchises. So they're currently down to like 8 or 12 teams at this point. They started with 8, they went up to 14, they've gone back and forth, and now they're at 12 teams. They want to be back at 14, and that's fantastic. And I really, really hope that we get the team here. I think we do have a good advantage, and we should. So let's see. Tom Duke's laughing about my comments about him keeping me on track. Sue we need a WNBA team in TO. I completely agree with this. Drake agrees with this. Masai agrees with it. The people of Toronto agree with us. Sue agrees with this. We do need a WNBA team here. And I was looking at the stats for attendance for WNBA games, and they average between 5,000 to 10,000 people for a game. I think we could get a high attendance for our team. Like, the real key is getting season ticket holders, is trying to get as many season ticket holders for the WNBA team. And boom, like, listen, if we're a big time economic driver for the WNBA, they'll be very happy they expanded here. And if they're really doing the research, they should be able to project and see how it is. Because I really do believe this too, that we do need this here also. But it's crazy how many teams do not have WNBA teams. You'd be shocked about which cities do not have WNBA teams and which probably want WNBA teams themselves and stuff like that. So, saying Toronto Huskies. No, I'm not going that far back, Tom. I'm talking about the expansion Raptors from 95. But anyway, that's funny. You want them to be the Huskies. You want to name the WNBA team the Huskies? I don't know. That is, in some ways, is not a nice name to call a woman. Something like that. I don't know. In different ways, actually. There's more than one way that's not a very nice way to call a ladies team. I don't know. I like the name Tri-Tops, but that's just me. Maybe that's just because, the dinosaur thing. Like, if you want to keep that kind of motif with the claw behind me and you get another dinosaur. And the one that's really kind of cool and looks kind of cool, and you've seen in like media and some of like, what was that old dinosaur show, that sitcom with the animatronic dinosaurs that were a family and the dad had the lunch pail. It wasn't there a female that was like a triceratops in that? It's like, that's what I'm thinking. It's something like tritops or something like that. Let's see. Would be so good for growing the game in Canada. Yeah, basketball's booming in Canada. Whether it's the young players coming up, Team Canada on the rise, like we talked about last Sunday, the CEBL starting in the summer, our own Canadian basketball league that's really good. If we get a WNBA team, and of course the Raptors are always exciting and bringing more and more attention to basketball, just being the Raptors and stuff like that. So MK saying, any players you would want in Canada if we do get a team. Now, see, this is the thing. I'm not totally familiar on the current crop. Like, I watched the WNBA when it very first started. Like, I was watching Rebecca Lobo on New York Liberty, and Cheryl Swoops and on Houston Comets, and the Phoenix Mercury and their team. And they're really cool. Like, in the beginning, I watched it a lot and I knew a lot of the players then, but I don't at this point. I really don't. I need to go back and do my research to really learn the league again. Like, who is the MVP? Who's the best player considered right now? But yeah, if there's Canadian women that are in the league, I'd love to have them on the Toronto team. If we get a Toronto team, there's all kinds of, there's a lot of international players in the WNBA also. It could be that the Toronto WNBA team, if we get one, has kind of a feel like the Raptors have had over the years, with more international players from around the world and stuff like that on the team. But I'm just excited. Like, honestly, I want the whole like new world to open up to me, where I have to go and study all these players and really learn this league. Like I know the NBA. It's too bad I have such a big window of not knowing anything about the league or not paying attention to it for pretty much the last 20 years. But still, there's a lot that can be made up by research and just studying a lot. So G saying, oh, true, laugh out loud. I was trying to incorporate history. Oh, G saying Toronto Huskies. Yeah, incorporating that history, that's way long time history. And like, I don't know if it really goes with this, like the Huskies name. I don't know. It's a weird thing. I really think that it'd be smart for them to tie in like the dinosaur thing somehow, some way, if they can. But maybe they go in a whole other direction. Like, maybe there is some sort of like, the other name that we were almost was the Towers, Toronto Towers. I don't know. Let's see. Kilimanjaro's here. I'm for a WNBA team in the six. So you would go to the games, Kilimanjaro. Yeah, I would go to the games too. I would love to support something like that and come down and see and stuff like that. The season's shorter. It runs from May to like September. So it really is like on the outside of the NBA schedule. So like, for fans like us that want basketball all the time, we're starving for basketball. Other than the finals, the finals playing game 2 tonight, whatever. They play one game a week. We want to watch basketball still. And if we have a WNBA team, that means we'll have basketball year round. And I'm all about that, because that'll make this channel a lot easier to produce content for, because I'll start covering them like I do the Raptors and really digging in deep and learning about the personalities and the players of a possible WNBA team in Toronto. So it'd be really cool. Marlon Toby's here. Good to see you, Marlon. Candace Parker is like the WNBA version of LeBron James right now. Yeah, she has been one of the greatest female basketball players ever in the history. Like her, Cheryl Miller, Cheryl Swoops, Tina Thompson, Lisa Leslie. There's some names from the history of the WNBA that are just absolutely fantastic athletes and people that really like transcended and built the game in women's basketball even higher. Like when Lisa Leslie dunked in the early 2000s in a WNBA game, that was a big deal. And, there's all kinds of great players and different things. And you see where Dawn Staley's gone now. She's going the coaching route. It's all really good and interlocked together. Tom saying, I've enjoyed watching Sue Bird, Seattle Storm, get a lot of airtime on my American channels. Sue Bird's another name that I'm really big on. She's a little bit older and been in the league for a while and stuff like that. But that Seattle team it's so fantastic that even though the Sonics left, that the Storm stayed in Seattle, and they still were playing there. Because honestly, Key Arena is actually a really good arena for WNBA. It's about the right size, but for the Sonics, it's too small. It was a very small arena compared to most of the modern arenas. I think it's like 10,000 people, and like they want double that, but it's really perfect for the Seattle Storm, and that's why they stuck there, and they still play next to the Space Needle, downtown Seattle. Seattle Storm, stuff like that. But yeah, that's cool. Like Tom, of course, you're going to get a lot of the Seattle Storm out there in BC and seeing that kind of stuff and stuff like that. If you guys have any kind of general questions about WNBA, other than like maybe deep dives on players, I can tell you like how this kind of worked because I did do a lot of research on it last night. Toronto aloes, like allosauruses. Yeah, yeah, that makes me think of like having a sunburn, rubbing the aloe on the skin, kind of thing. But I don't know that we're working this. Hey, let's brainstorm. Let's figure it out. Let's think about what would be a good name for a Toronto WNBA team and how maybe it could fit in with the Raptors' identity and things like that. Let's see. Fredo's saying, WNBA, have you ever tried to watch a full game? Man, it makes my eyes bleed. All right, this is Fredo. This is Golden State Warrior fan. Listen, I have, I really love the WNBA game actually, because in a way, there's a whole period of time in the last 20 years where the NBA got so superstar oriented, isolation play, very one-on-one league where you're just trying to beat people one-on-one with your superstar. Whereas the WNBA is more pure team basketball, that they really play off of each other. And like, there's a lot more like that in the beginning of basketball, you couldn't dribble the ball. You had to pass. You could not move any further. You had to pass. And that they added dribbling at a certain point. But with the WNBA, it's much more like the international game, like with international play, where it's very team oriented. It's not necessarily a superstar league. It's very, in some ways, I love that. It's more like college. College ball is more team oriented. The international play is more team oriented, and WNBA is more team oriented because you like to see the plays off each other and like just really good teamwork. And that's what you get in WNBA. Sure, you don't get some of the above the rim stuff. Sure, maybe the athleticism's a little bit different of a level than the NBA, but I find it entertaining because it's still very competitive and they do cool stuff too. Like you can see some crazy ball handling in WNBA and like some really cool, like just comebacks and exciting games and stuff like that. So I think the product is exciting. I think that we got to get past this whole idea that comparing it to the NBA and just take it for what it is on its own, separate from it, because it's not going to be the same as the NBA, but there are a lot of cool things about the WNBA also, is what I'll say. Let's see, Kilimanjaro saying no. I think he may be saying no to the Aloes suggestion. Tom Duke saying they built a tunnel to remove soil and renovated Key Arena. The capacity expanded to around 17,000 for basketball games, 15,000 for ice hockey, and 16,000 for end stage concerts. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. That's good because that was a big part of why the Sonics had to leave, is because the arena was not really up to the standards of what the NBA wanted for capacity and what they needed for NBA arenas around the league and stuff like that. But that's good to hear that they expanded it. And this may be really telling about, like, I said Adam Silver was not going to expand with the NBA, but it's sounding more like he does want to in like 2 or 3 years. And that the Seattle Sonics may be back in Seattle, and maybe that arena be more fit for them. As far as like 17,000 is not far off the number that NBA wants. I went to that arena myself when I went to Seattle on my honeymoon like 15 years ago, and I saw how small Key Arena was. I was like, wow. This is very small inside, like very interesting. So G says, I'm good at the quiz, not the names. G is the Raptor Freak trivia champion. I'm telling you, going in this, I'm sorry, Raymond Jacob. You can try and catch up still, but it looks like there's only going to be this week and next week, and that is it. And then G will be getting the autographed JYD practice jersey mailed from me. But yeah, G, you're a G either way. I mean, listen, you got to put some names and ideas out there. Don't be afraid afraid to. Not all of them are going to be that good. I realize that. It's the same thing with me. The Tri-Tops names may be dumb too. People may be like, that's stupid. But no, man, at least you have the trivia for sure. Kilimanjaro saying hard to come up with a name. Toronto Red Rockets. That's another one that's a little. I know we have that name because of the subway system and stuff like that here, but once again, that makes me think of that South Park episode with Cartman. If you know what I'm talking about, I don't want to elaborate about it. Let's just say Red Rocket can mean a couple of different things, and in Cartman world, it's very gross. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, or just Rockets. Yeah, I don't know about Rockets because then we're kind of impeding on Houston Rockets, like with their team and stuff like that. I really like some sort of like dinosaur, like some sort of dinosaur. Pterodactyls, Terras, the Toronto Terras. What if that was what it was? The Toronto Terras, like not terrors, like terrorists, but Terras, like pterodactyls. And then the logo is like a pterodactyl instead or something like that. I don't know, something like that. Fredo's saying Elena Delle Donne played for Delaware and I saw her play live. It was like Shaq versus eighth graders. Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. You guys are trying to get a team also in San Francisco. You guys are on the short list also. Toronto and San Francisco are looking for WNBA teams. And by the end of this year, Fredo, they may be saying the WNBA is expanding to Toronto and San Francisco. That's really the two cities I think will get it. It just makes sense because Golden State's a great franchise and they'll be able to run it. And that city's really good for it also. So I think it'll be those two cities, seriously. Raymond Jacobs saying, laugh out loud. I only got close because G was absent. Yeah, there was that 1 week where you cleaned up and you like doubled your points. But, still, it's been fun. And honestly, it'll be cool to start over again. Let G try and defend his championship and wipe the slate clean so everybody's at 0 again. And now that people know there are stakes and prizes to be won, maybe there'll be an interesting, different kind of competition for season 2 of the Raptor Freak Trivia. And I've already got my prize for it. It's really weird. I'm going to tell you that right now. The prize for next season is very strange, and I'm willing to mail it to someone because I'm sick of it. I don't want it here anymore. But it's really a cool Raptor novelty item. I'll put it that way. Let's see. Red Rockets is cool. G says Red Rockets is cool. To me, I'm not going to be able to put that South Park episode out of my head. Kilimanjaro say no dinosaurs. Okay, you don't want to do any kind of dinosaur connection. Well, what would it be? I mean, what could it be? Like there were the other names that Toronto was like doing was like the Hogs, Toronto Towers, Toronto. What was another one of them? There were some really weird names that we were choosing from when the kids voted on the names. When they picked Raptors, like in the 90s and stuff like that. Toronto Red Foxes. Actually, I kind of like that, Raymond, in a weird way. Not only just because it references a great comedian that I love from way, way back. It also kind of is like, it's a nice, kind of cool name, but I don't know. Are we really known for red foxes in this area of the world? Like, is a fox really that connected to the city of Toronto as far as things? So, yeah. G saying, I don't take it personally. I think it's funny when you react to the names. Okay, well, let's make this a comedy show. Go crazy. Write some really crazy, outlandish shit, and I'll react to it, and we'll talk about it. Tom Duke saying, moment of positive vibes for Brittany Griner. Geez, she is hooped. All right, listen. I really, I hate the Celtics. I think what Jason Tatum did yesterday, wearing the Kobe shirt to practice. Kobe worked out for the Celtics before he got drafted, and he wore an old logo shirt. And Jason is so cringe right now. He's wearing the same shirt that Kobe came there, and he's like having personal dialogues with him on his phone, texting and stuff like. I'm like, cringe. But the other Celtics, when they went to practice yesterday, wore orange shirts that had something to do with BG, like we support or stand with BG, Brittany Griner. And they're way too late on this, NBA. Where the fuck were y'all like 3 months ago when this was really starting out? You should have been showing up and showing support for her and making a big deal and making a lot of noise about this situation with her way long time ago. And that you're really late to this. And it's good that you're finally doing it. But why did this take so long, Adam Silver? You needed to make a bigger deal out of this sooner. Oh, my gosh. Oh my gosh. And yeah, hopefully she's getting closer and closer to getting out with political pressure and different people doing different things in different places of influences to help her get out of Russia and out of that jail. Fredo saying, what do you think about Warriors game tonight? Man, I hope your guys win, is what I'm saying. You guys cannot lose on your home court 2 in a row to start the series, and then Boston will kill you, and then they win, and I'll be so pissed off. Because we need you to take care of this. It's basically like, take these guys out. You're a hitman right now, Golden State Warriors. You need to take them out because we don't want a Celtics championship. All kinds of people don't want Celtics championship. Lakers Nation doesn't want Celtics championship. Raptors Nation doesn't want a Celtics championship. Philly Nation doesn't want a Celtics championship. There's a lot of nations that are behind you right now, Golden State. Don't squander it. We need you to show up and just beat their ass. And in fact, it was such a letdown in game 1 that you guys had the lead. What happened in that fourth quarter? Draymond fouled out. Other different things happened. You guys couldn't hit a shot. Well, that is unacceptable. You cannot let Boston win game 2 tonight in Golden State, because that is going to be really bad for y'all. And you guys will not win the championship this year if you lose tonight. So tonight is a do or die game, and you guys cannot be casual. I've heard them saying after the game 1, they're like, oh, we're not worried. We got everything's fine. Something like that. Bullshit, motherfuckers. You better be worried, and you better be ready next time. Steph Curry, you better have eye of the tiger, and you better be hitting your 3-pointer all through the game tonight, because these Celtics are nobody to mess with, and we don't need another Celtics championship. I don't need Udoka becoming another rookie head coach getting a championship in his first year coaching. I do not want that. Nick Nurse needs to be a unicorn and be somebody who's very special. And that's part of the underlying thing, is that they don't talk about Nick Nurse having this accomplishment, but bet you money they will talk about this guy for Boston having that accomplishment if he gets it. And I don't want that. I want Nick Nurse to be a singular person that's got this, other than the first coach of the very first year in the league. I don't think there's ever been rookie head coaches that won. Maybe Paul Westhead with the Lakers because of winning time, because he got thrown into that spot. That's one maybe. But we don't want Udoka to stand next to Nick Nurse as a rookie head coach that won an NBA championship. So, all right, let's see. MK saying, I don't know about Hogs. Yeah, I don't know about that either. That's a bad name. Toronto Waves. That seems like a good name for a Florida team or something like that. And G said, oh my goodness, not Hogs. Yeah, that would be really bad. Tom Duke is saying Toronto Hoopers. Hoopers? That makes me think of Mr. Hooper from Sesame Street. That was really sad when he died. It also makes me think of people putting things up their butt when they go into the jail and try and smuggle things in. Hoopers. So I don't know about Hoopers. I have really weird mind, I guess. MK saying, I would love to have Dee Dee Richards. She gives me Toronto hard-nosed defense vibes. Ooh, that sounds like a cool player, Dee Dee Richards. I want to, seriously, if we really build the team in the expansion draft a certain way, we could be a competitive team right away. And that we just need really smart insight and team building right through the expansion draft process. Let's see. Yeah, Tom's saying, yeah, not Hogs. Hogs is off the table, way off the table. Just because it's Hogtown doesn't mean we need to make it Hogs. No, we don't. Raymond Jacobs saying the name has to have a nice chant. Let's go, Tri-Tops, let's go, Aloes, let's go, Hogs. Yeah, I don't know. The other thing is, the thing about the Raptors name is it's alliterative. If you look at it, it's nice to say, partly because of the tour at the beginning and the tour at the end. It's Toronto Raptors. And that is a really, actually genius way and genius that we named our team. Is that Toronto Raptors, it didn't make sense to some people. We were capitalizing on the Jurassic Park phenomena of the 90s, but it also was a really kind of cool alliterative name because of that tour in it. So could we duplicate that somehow in the name for the WNBA team that possibly we get? Is that tour kind of thing in there and stuff like that? All right, Fredo, don't get into this again. You know what I'm going to start saying when you start talking about asterisks. You know what I'm going to say? What about Cleveland? Cleveland, some of those championships y'all got against Cleveland, they could be asterisks too for the same kind of reasons. Every single championship you can get an asterisk. I know. All right, that's my little bit with this. Not this again, Fredo. That's right, G. Golden State fan, we're rooting for you. Shut up. Raymond Jacobs saying, Tom, at first I read your post as Toronto Hooters. That, listen, yeah, that is not going to work either. I mean, as much as I wish it could. Now, does make me think of wings, really cheap, nasty wings with certain servers, but it also makes me think of owls. That owls are called Hooters. And that what if you have a lot of owls? Well, wait, that's what Hooters uses too. Never mind. We can't go that direction at all. Tom Duke's laughing at me. Fredo had to say it. You know what? That's your one quota, Fredo, that's it. You just do that once, and then you know where we're at with this. We've gone through this already. Come on. I don't want to cut a promo on you today. We're all nice and happy today. Random gamers here. Okay, Philly fans here too. Also, what's up, guys? I'm pretty sure Steve Kerr was a rookie coach in 2015 when the Warriors won. Is that true? Okay, well, maybe there are way more of these people than I thought. I just thought that was so hard to do. Like if you're in your first year as a head coach and you win a championship, that's a huge big deal to me. And that's why I thought the Nick Nurse thing was very unique. But maybe you're right. There may be way more people that did it, and then I didn't realize that there were more people that actually won a championship in their rookie year as a head coach. I still don't want Udoka to do it. And Random Gamer, you're with us, aren't you? Who are you rooting for in this as Sixers fan? I know I just said that Sixers Nation is probably rooting against the Celtics, but that's me just basing it on the history of y'all's franchises and how you guys do really hate the Celtics. And that I figured that you are like Raptors Nation in this respect. Division rival. Some of you guys played in Eastern Conference Finals many times in the 80s, Dr. J and Larry Bird. I'm pretty sure Random Gamer's rooting for Warriors also. Also, you guys had the Philadelphia Warriors. So there is a bit of a connection between the Golden State Warriors and Philadelphia because that franchise used to be in Philadelphia. And in fact, the first NBA championship ever won in the NBA was won by the Philadelphia Warriors, which is the franchise that the Golden State Warriors has now, but it was located in Philadelphia at that time. So I'm wondering, Random Gamer, let me know, what is your connection to the Golden State team as far as do you like them or you hate them, or do you feel like there is a connection because of the history of that franchise in your city is what I'll ask like that. Tom Duke's saying, I like that, Raymond. So, okay, he likes Toronto Hooters. Tom likes Hooters. I think it's just that Tom likes Hooters. I think Tom just likes Hooters, and there's nothing wrong with that, Tom. This stream's a little bit degenerating here. All right, let's see. All right, respect, Fredo. Respect. Seriously, man. Listen, I hate the Celtics so much. Y'all need to do this. I don't normally hate the Warriors. I mean, I hate them when we play them, and I'm glad we beat y'all in the finals when we played you, but I hate the Celtics. I don't hate the Warriors. I have a lot of respect for Golden State and their players. I really like Steph Curry. He's a great player. He's somebody I've never hated. And, people like Draymond, he gets on my nerves, but I can respect him to a degree. And Klay Thompson's a great player, but he's kind of a knucklehead in his personality. As far as his on the court stuff, he's a badass. And I really like him for his game and stuff like that. So Random Gamer saying, I want the Warriors to win, but I have a feeling that Boston's going to steal. Their defense is no joke. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we can only hope, and we'll see what happens tonight. It's so dumb how they spread out these games so far apart. It's like I joked earlier, they played one game this week. They finished the Boston series with Miami last Sunday, and they've played one game since. And these 2 days off in the same place where they don't have to travel is stupid. They should have played this game last night. On Saturday night. Saturday night's a great night to have a basketball game on TV. And having 2 days off when you don't travel in between games is kind of stupid, honestly, to me. And it smacks of the NBA trying to help the Celtics get more and more healthy as the series goes on. Golden State hasn't been that hurt. They're in pretty good shape, but Boston's been really beat up from the series with Miami. So they go and they give them all this time off before. Is this normal every year? How much time there is between these games? I don't think so. I don't think it is. Let's see. Let's see. Raymond Jacobs saying at Tom, the logo can be basketballs for the O's. All right, you guys, listen. We're talking about a WNBA team coming here, and we're talking about gender equity and stuff. But we don't need to be pigs about this. Also, come on, guys. Come on. Let's keep it like respectful and stuff like that. I know that maybe I said some dumb things like earlier about hogs and stuff like that, but and maybe you guys are going through the names like and just trying to figure out how this can work. But let's just strike hogs and hooters off the list for possible WNBA teams. I don't even know why I have to say this. G saying yes, Celtics defense is very good. Yeah, it is. I begrudgingly admit this that it is. Obviously, if they can do what they did in the fourth quarter against a team like Golden State, like outscore them like that 40-16, that's insane. That means their defense is pretty damn good. Tom Duke saying random gamer changes in a franchise perhaps correlates to the organization being motivated. Players are motivated for new boss and coach. That's a good point. That like the switch from Brad Stevens to Imadoku, it could be that like guys like Marcus Smart and Jason Tatum and Jalen Brown were like, wow, I'm really going to play my ass off for Udoka compared to Brad Stevens. Brad Stevens is always a little Weasley guy, weird guy. Like he seems like a prick. Like you talk to him, you'd probably be like, that guy's an asshole or something like that. That's the way I feel like he comes off of. Whereas Udoka, he has more of a friendly vibe. Obviously, people the players probably can relate to Udoka a lot better than Brad Stevens. Just you know what I'm saying? Yeah, obviously. So that may be part of it also is that they try even harder for him. And maybe Stevens was smart enough to recognize that and say, well, you know what? I want to get pushed up. Danny Ainge is leaving. I'll be in charge of the team as the GM, and we'll go get a new head coach. And this guy's the guy. Boom. Marlon Toby says Steve Kerr just built upon the foundation that Mark Jackson left at Golden State, like Nick Nurse did with Dwayne Casey. Yeah, I believe that's right, Marlon. From what I remember too, is like, yeah, that like Mark Jackson was there, Dwayne Casey, in a similar kind of way. That's really interesting. Really, really interesting. There's a similar kind of thing that happened with Popovich. That in San Antonio, when Greg Popovich took over the team, he was a GM. He was in the front office, and the coach didn't work, or he fired the coach and took the GM job. He took the coaching job from him, and now he's still there. But it was kind of like the coach. It was right when they got Duncan, and they wanted to like right before, and they got really good because right then it's kind of a similar thing that. And I can remember Spoelstra and Riley also kind of jumping into positions because the team got better. Didn't somebody jump like Riley wanted to coach when LeBron came or something? Or I don't know. Maybe Spoelstra was the one who jumped in there in Miami, something like that. I don't know. I should have a better memory on this stuff, but it's not that important to me. Let's see. Yeah, Tom Duke's laughing at Raymond. Raymond's being funny. The basketball can be logos. All right, random gamer is saying, no, I hate both teams in the finals, but to be honest, I hate Boston just a little more. That's the same with me, random gamer. Like, honestly, I don't really like the Warriors that much either. I have good friends that are big fans of the Warriors, and I like them. And like, there's people, I don't know. The Warriors are a team that I have liked. I liked right up until we played them in the finals. And then, all the bullshit that Warriors fans said, like what Fredo's saying here, pissed me off because they were discounting our championship. And that made me have more animosity towards them since then. It wasn't even that I hated them before that. I actually really liked the Warriors pretty much all my life. It's when we won the championship here in Toronto and people started trying to discount it and say all this stuff. The Warriors fans started making excuses for why they lost. Then I started not liking the Warriors fans because of that. And then also that thing with Masai didn't help. And then some of the tacky things that their fans have done have kind of done that also, So, yeah, I'm with you. I hate both of them, but I really hate the Celtics. I really, really hate the Celtics. All right, let's keep going. I think Tyronn Lue, as a rookie, won the championship after taking over for David Blatt, and Pat Riley did it also. Okay, so there probably are tons of these. All right, I need to shut up with this whole Nick Nurse thing. Whatever, I'll let it go. But it is kind of cool. Maybe I'll do the research for this and find out all the rookie head coaches that have won championships because it may be a very interesting list. G saying Toronto Red Claws. Come on, you guys aren't going in the right direction. You're trying to be a little bit funny. I mean, I guess I could see where that would work, but it's also, once again, like, I guess because you guys have already tainted this with these weird like Hooters and stuff like that, that I'm thinking like, yeah, maybe this isn't the right one, but I don't know. Red Claws? Yeah, you guys are going crazy with the Hooters here and stuff like that. All right, you guys are gonna get in trouble. No, it's just we're gonna look like pigs. Somebody's gonna come and want to watch this and learn about WNBA, and then it's just gonna be a bunch of guys making like childish jokes. And I'm like, oh no. All right, let's see. All right, let's go Hooters. Let's go Hooters. All right, Raymond Jacob, that's the last time. All right. Sue's saying, I looked it up. Oh, good. Sue's doing research for us. Thank God. Thank you, Sue. Please keep us on track. And let's get the maturity level up here for a sec. All right. I looked it up. Besides Nick, here are rookie coaches that won in first year are Lou, Kerr, Riley, and Westhead. Okay. So they're the ones we said. So there's 5 of them. Tyronn Lue with Cleveland, Steve Kerr with San Antonio, no, with Golden State, Riley with Miami, and then Riley with the Lakers. That's right, because Westhead won one, and then Westhead left after that first one in winning time, and then Riley came in as the head coach the next year and he won. They won again. So okay, and wait, no, Westhead coached the next year and lost, and then Riley took over after that. Westhead had 2 years as a coach. That's what it is. Random Gamer saying, okay, good. Sue, thank you so much for figuring it out and telling us exactly who it is. So there's basically 5 of them. There's Nick Nurse, Tyronn Lue, Steve Kerr, Pat Riley, and Paul Westhead. That's a very small group. And what an illustrious group. I don't know. Tyronn Lue's the one that always bugs me as far as things. I've always thought of him as being like a LeBron puppet. Like he's not when any kind of coach that coached the Cavs with LeBron on them, it always makes me, this guy's not really coaching the team. It's like LeBron's coaching the team. Random Gamer saying, when Nick Nurse was a rookie coach and run it was better because they took a gamble on taking Leonard after taking DeMar. There was a lot of pressure and they delivered. I appreciate this, hearing this from a Philadelphia fan, because he doesn't have to say this. And he's right. We could have really gotten egg on our face if we had not gotten success in that season, because we had just traded one of the most loyal Raptors in the history of the franchise away from the team. And we didn't want to do that frivolously. And we traded him for a guy who didn't really want to be here, a guy who like was just showing up for a year in between to be able to go get what he really wanted. And like, Kawhi, in some ways, I like him and love him because of the championship stuff, but in some ways he's an asshole. He's an absolute asshole. The way he treated the Spurs franchise the year before he came to Toronto was absolutely awful. It was the same shit that Ben Simmons did this year. And that, that's an asshole thing to do. And he still got rewarded with what he wanted. In fact, he got a championship out of it. And that's really, like, people say Kawhi won us a championship, but listen, that's bullshit. What has he done since? Toronto helped Kawhi win another championship. It just was a nice marriage made in heaven. And that without either one of them, we wouldn't have probably won that year. That we realized, yeah, we needed Kawhi to win, but also he needed us just as much as we needed him. And I really appreciate you saying that. And you're exactly right. Like, Masai would not have the stature and be as badass as he is with his reputation if he had done that deal and that year had been a failure. And that there would have been a huge bunch of egg on his face and people would be upset. And like, DeMar, why did we trade DeMar for this and stuff like that? It would have been a lot of that. Oh my gosh. So yeah. Appreciate that from a Sixers fan. Tom Duke saying, thank you, Sue. Each of the teams coached by those guys were unreal and stacked. Yeah, there were some superstar teams involved in those ones. I mean, those old Lakers teams, oh my gosh. Magic as a rookie and all this stuff going on there with Kareem was still playing. Oh, look out. Yeah, you're just correcting what you said up there. G said, I do respect that both teams in the finals drafted and traded most of their players. Yeah, I respect that too. Like, that is good, because that shows that the superstar building trend in the league is stupid, and that these teams were organically built. They're built from within, and that is really good, because that's good for the health of the league. That, maybe people will copycat the winners the two teams that are in the finals right now and be more like them, then that means not building like these crazy teams like the Brooklyn Nets the past couple years, or the Lakers and what they've tried to do and stuff like that. Because the Lakers were a huge, huge failure this year. Absolute, one of the biggest failures in the history of the NBA, if you ask me. Fredo's peace, peace. G St. Claus says the Raptor Claw. Laughing my ass off. I'm actually trying. I know you're actually trying, but maybe this is something bad about men. We just sexualized and made everything sound dirty in this world. It's like, what have we done? Like, we can't have a wholesome, innocent name for this WNBA team. Come on, we got to find this sweet spot. See, even me saying that is like, I can't stop. Sweet spot. Fredo saying the Toronto Polite Beavers. No, Fredo, this is the wrong direction. But I mean, really, actually, Beaver would make sense because it is Canada. It's on our nickel. I seen them on the road yesterday. Like, I was driving in cottage country and I seen a beaver. I was standing on the side of the road. So they're here. But once again, this does not fit what we're trying to do accomplish with naming a WNBA team, Toronto Beavers. Yeah. I knew somebody was going to say that at some point. It was Warriors fan. All right, Warriors fan. Hilarious. You're comedian, man. Tom Duke saying Toronto Reapers. Ooh, that is dark, Tom. That is very dark. Toronto Reapers. I don't know. Very scary, Count Floyd. Ooh. All right, this one. All right, Raymond's got one. How about Toronto Toronto Tyrannus. I still like Toronto Tri-Tops better. Or Terry's. Toronto Terras with a silent P at the front of it. The Terras, like pterodactyls. I don't know. I like those two. Those are the two that I like personally. But you guys maybe think, they're stupid. Toronto Terras, like pterodactyls. It could be Toronto Pterodactyls or just Terras is for short. They could shorten it to be Toronto Terras. And it does kind of sound like Terras or Reapers, kind of. But Toronto Tri-Tops. That's another one I like. It's like 3 words. Toronto Tri-Tops. I don't know. Maybe that works. I don't know. This is maybe not up to us. This may be up to small school children in a contest. That we need to realize that, what are we doing here? This is frivolous. They're going to let the children decide, like they did with the Raptors. They'll give them a little short list, and the kids will vote. And that will be like what happened with the Raptors name. Is like, that's how we got named the Raptors. They let the children decide. And that may be what happens. We obviously, maybe the adults don't need to decide because of what's happening here today. Oh, gee. Oh, okay. All right. Let's see. Raymond Jacobs said, sweet spot. You said, I know. I can't help it. I hope Sue's finding this entertaining and not insulting. I really do, Sue. Please don't be insulted by our stupid maleness here. I mean, seriously. It's hilarious. Raymond Jacobs saying, no tyrants. Short for Tyrannosaurus. Tyrants. Okay, so it's tyrants, like for Tyrannosaurus. Yeah, I was thinking that. Tyrants. No tyrants. Toronto Tyrants. I don't know. This is tough. This is going to be really tough. I think going with the dinosaur kind of motif is the smart thing to do, though. But maybe not, because there is a history also in the WNBA of the WNBA team separating from the NBA team in the city and not having anything to do with them. The Chicago Sky, the current WNBA champions from last season, are not affiliated with the Chicago Bulls. In fact, they play in a whole different arena. They don't have anything to do with like any of the same organization or owners or anything. Chicago Sky. So that maybe, I don't know if it's good to keep the name connected to the Toronto Raptors, or maybe not, so that they can be their own entity. And if ownership changes, like if MLSE, I don't know if MLSE is even going to own this team. I don't know. I've heard that there's a group that's already trying to do this, and they may not be MLSE themselves. But I think that the chances that they'll play in the Scotiabank Arena are very high, though. Still, let's see. Tom Duke is wanting to hear from our female contributors on the stream what they think. I completely agree. Let's see. Sue is going to have something better for sure. Yeah, who knows? G saying maybe Toronto Towers is safe. Yeah, I was thinking that. Like that was actually like one of the finalist names for the Raptors is that we could have easily been the Toronto Towers because of the CN Tower, and that would have been our whole thing. Like maybe we would have had like this weird, like I guess they have a mascot at the CN Tower that is the CN Tower. The dude dressed in this a mascot suit that has like the CN Tower as his head, and that might have been our mascot. And I don't know if he could have dunked as well as the Raptor. With that Raptor has been such a great mascot. It'd be weird to have like a CN Tower mascot instead out on the court and stuff like that, and have that whole tower motif instead of the dinosaur motif. I think it really worked out well for us with our name. I really loved the Toronto Raptor name, and but it was weird and awkward at first, and it didn't totally seem to fit right away. But it really has over time, because in some ways there's a really weird like irony about the team being called the Raptors in a city that's so kind of futuristic looking, is very kind of ahead of the curve with like technology and different things like that. That's kind of an interesting irony in the name of the Toronto Raptors to me. Let's see. MK saying Toronto Red Fox and Tri Tops are the best so far. Yeah, I agree with you, MK. Like Red Fox is interesting. Red Foxes? I mean, I guess that would play kind of off of the TFC colors and our colors for red and stuff like that. That's interesting. Raymond Jacobs saying Toronto Loons. Loons, yeah, that's interesting. Loon is a very well. We have loonies with the loon on the dollar bill. That's an interesting one. Loons. I don't know. Maybe people will start calling them the loonies, though. Like, let's go watch the loonies. And then maybe there may be a whole mental health aspect of things with this that may not be good. I don't know. Sue saying, hi, you boys are cracking me up. Just little boys. I'm laughing at all of you. If we have a Raptor Freak team, it will definitely be the little pigs. Oh, she just burned us so good, Sue. Oh, bravo, bravo. This we deserve this, guys. We really deserve this. Listen, I'm just like I'm so happy that Sue's laughing at us and not like frowning or really pissed off at us or something like that. But that's awesome. Yeah, all right, we own that. We have to have that name, I guess. The Little Pigs, Little Pigs. If we get like an intramural team, maybe we should do that. Maybe we should have like a team that we play on, a basketball team that we play on. People here in Toronto that watch this channel and want to get together and start our own little basketball club, the Raptor Freak Basketball Little Pigs, and we'll just start playing and stuff like that. Sue, I know you're around. You come play. Raymond Jacob, whoever's in Toronto and can meet up for a regular time once a week. Let's go have pickup games and start practicing our synergy like the Raptors and get some good chemistry going where we can make passes and maybe we can be like the Harlem Globetrotters and just play anybody who wants to play us. And even though we get beat or something like that, I don't know. So good. Random Gamer likes the Toronto Red Foxes. Let's see. Tom Duke is saying, you are great, Sue. Cheers. Yeah, she's hilarious. I really love this. Fredo's saying, I'm learning a lot about Canada as I look up stuff you are popular for. Oh, cool. You're looking up things for Canada because you're trying to figure out a name for us. Look, Fredo, Warriors fan is helping us trying to name our team too. That's awesome. There are a lot of interesting things about Canada. You know, what if we were called the Naismiths, like the Toronto Naismiths? I don't know. Maybe that's not the right name. Or maybe there's like, I'm trying to think. You know, there's other Moose is not good. I don't think Toronto Moose is not good. I don't know. We'll keep going. Sue's saying, honestly, I've been trying to think of something, but haven't come up with anything yet. But I think we need to be an inclusive, strong, and accepting type of name. Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Those are good characteristics and things that we need to think about with the name. That it has to be very inclusive, it has to be strong, and it has to be something that like makes sense to a degree also. Maybe not total sense at first, but something that over time will make more and more sense and stuff like that. Tom Duke saying, Fredo, nice, not just dog sleds. Oh my gosh, there's so much about Canada to learn. And I'm glad we're encouraging Americans to learn more about Canada right now. Raymond Jacobs saying, let's think winter snow theme names. Well, they're going to play in the summer, though, Raymond. So it doesn't really make sense. And who wants to be reminded of the winter in Canada during the summertime? I mean, come on, man. We can't go that direction. I don't think so. Like, what are we going to call them? The snowflakes? We don't want to be the snowflakes. The Toronto Blizzard. I don't know. Maybe blizzards? Then maybe Dairy Queen might get involved with some promos or something like that. The Toronto Blizzards. And then he's like, you get a free blizzard for coming to the Blizzard game. Tom Duke is saying, good angle, Raymond. Toronto Icicles? Icicles, they melt. I don't know. I think Toronto Blizzard's already taken. Oh, there is a team. What sport is that? Toronto Meadows. Meadows. That's interesting. That makes me think of like Tony Soprano's daughter. Isn't her name Meadow? Or something like that. Tony Soprano's daughter. Icicles it is. No, Tom, we can't do icicles. Icicles melt in the summer. We can't. So many other teams are just going to write. That's the other thing you have to think about when you're making up a team name is how are other teams going to make fun of you? It's very much what people go through when they're naming their child. Like you can't name your child that. You think of all the bullying they're going to get from that. Icicles is too easy because icicles melt. Oh, the icicles are going to melt. Woo! You have to think about how other teams are going to come at you with we've had to go through this whole thing with Crafters, the Barneys, all the different dumb names with the Raptors that but we got to think about that also is like, if you name your kid a certain name, sometimes they get a lot of grief in school. Like mine was Sexy Alexi. Ooh, Sexy Alexi. That's what they called me in high school. And like when I was a little kid, and I was like, I don't want to be sexy. Why are you calling me Sexy Alexi? I was like really mad at people when they called me that for a while. It was hilarious. But when I got older and the ladies started calling me Sexy Alexi, I was like, hey, that's all right. But when I was a little kid, I really got mad. Let's see. Fredo's saying, Tom Duke, I found out many interesting things. I'd like to see the Northern Lights. Ooh, Toronto Northern Lights. We're not close enough to it, and that kind of smacks of Minnesota North Stars, something like that. I don't know. That's kind of cool. Yeah, the Northern Lights is impressive and beautiful. Totally, Fredo. Maybe you need a trip up to Yukon or something like that. Tom Duke saying, oh man, so cool. Raymond saying summer. Oh man, let's think. This is so tough. I mean, when I came up with tri-tops and terras, I was like, man, those are pretty good. And that may be the best I can do is Toronto tri-tops and have like the triceratops as the dinosaur that is the logo. G saying true. They will call them snowflakes. Yeah, we don't want any of that. We don't want any of that motif. That is such a loaded term at this point. Snowflakes. This is so overused in political circles at this point that it's ruined in some ways. All right, Raymond saying, okay, sorry, no winter names. Yeah, plus we want players to come and play for us. We don't want to drive them away by having like the winter reminded in the name of the team and stuff like that. That may be part of it. Tom Duke is saying, Toronto Tri-Tops is growing on me. Well, maybe just because the rest of these suck. They all suck. I mean, honestly, Tri-Tops isn't that good either. I mean, it's okay. Like, if you think about it, it's Las Vegas Shooting Stars, and they were the San Antonio Shooting Stars, and or Silver Stars or something like that. And they changed it. And having a 3-word name is actually pretty good in some ways. But I don't know. We may be at an impasse with this as far as like trying to figure out a name for a WNBA expansion. What would we call the WNBA expansion team in San Francisco? Let's figure that one out. Like if it's not the Warriors, it's like the Warrioresses or what was the Valkyries? Maybe the Valkyries or something like kind of female warrior kind of name. What would that be? I don't know. I'm trying to figure that one out. Maybe this is too much work. We can't even figure out the Toronto one. How would we figure out one for San Francisco if they got a team also helping Fredo out with that? I don't know. Anyway, y'all, listen, if you guys have any more questions about WNBA, just write them in the comments. I'll go research and figure it out if I don't already know the answers. I really did do a deep dive last night on the WNBA, just learning about the history and all the different times. There's certain franchises that have been so storied. And it's sad in some ways that one of the greatest franchises of the WNBA was the Houston Comets. They won the first 4 WNBA championships in the very beginning, and they're not even around anymore. They ran out of business and they are defunct. One of the greatest franchises in the history of the WNBA has not made it, and that sucks. So this is the kind of thing is like they really do like, and they've gotten burned by expanding into cities like Miami and Portland, and it was an absolute disaster. Nobody went to the games. They were complete failures, and they lost the teams. So when they're making these decisions about which teams to expand to, they really think about, well, this is what happened with Miami, or this is what happened with Portland. and they really try and avoid the same mistakes of like maybe misjudging the how people will support the team. And I think that the most of the cities on the list that the WNBA has put out this week are pretty safe and will be good cities for them. But they really do have to worry about that because they've been burned in the past with setting it all up and everything, and then boom, it's just like it doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in that city. But I think that Toronto is a pretty safe bet, WNBA, that if you do come here, it will take, and it may be a really good thing for your league, that it'll make you international. And then also, you may be surprised about the uptick in prestige that the league gets from having, a Toronto team. So I would recommend it. All right, here we go. This one sounds pretty good. Raymond Jacobs saying Toronto Triassics. Triassics is like the Jurassic period, the Triassic period. Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad. I can see that, the Triassics. Although, if you break that word down phonetically, Triassics, like, all right, listen. Once again, the dirty little pig mind is getting Triassics. All right. Fredo's saying the Toronto Asterix. I'm sorry, he's done. All right. Yeah, on that note, we're out of here. Fredo, yeah, no, we're not doing the asterisks. Oh my gosh. All right, tomorrow, Monday memory. I'll have a memory for you guys that from the season, one of the games and stuff like that. I know, Raymond, I can't help it. I guess I'm just in that mindset right now. This is really bad. Really, really bad. I need to go and I'm going to rewatch this and realize how cringe I am in this video today. I'm going to be like, oh, why did you? You guys are trying to be like, woke and very understanding and stuff like that. What are you doing? All right. Thanks for watching, y'all. I really appreciate everybody being here and all the great suggestions and all the not so great suggestions also. And just thanks once again for everything. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't already. It really helps me with my climb to get to 1,000 subscribers. Because once I do that, then YouTube will allow me to do a whole bunch of different things with my channel. And that is a goal for me. I know it probably won't get much traction this summer, but when the season's starting to approach, I know that there's going to start interest will be picking up on seeing what's going on with the team, and they will know, hopefully, that this is one of the best places to come and keep up to date with what's happening with them and stuff like that. So, all right, yeah, let's go Warriors. Beat the Celtics tonight. We are fully behind Dub Nation, and we want Steph Curry to come out there and make more of a claim to be the finals MVP. We want Klay Thompson to hit all of his threes. We want Draymond Green to stop the Celtics as much as he can. And we want Jordan Poole to get his act together and not play blown defensive coverages. We saw what you did, Poole, in the fourth quarter, where you had that matador defense letting guys just go right by you like Jalen Brown to the basket. We can't have that again tonight because you guys need to do it. Tom Duke saying you were twisting Raymond's words. Just kidding. You were policing us. Listen, it's just too easy. Like, you have to think like a child in a way. And maybe this is why children should pick these names, is because, if he says Triassics, it's like I think of like trying LSD, or I also think about trying new sexual acts. I mean, all right, let's go, guys. Thanks again, once again. Let's go Raptors. And for tonight and the rest of the series, let's go Warriors. Really, really take care of things, Warriors. We need you to stop the Celtics. You really, really do. G says this is one of the funniest shows yet. Awesome. Well, I like that. And Raymond's saying having a feminine, sexy name though will sell. Listen, what are you, Dr. Jerry Buss? Like, you're like we need really sexy cheerleaders, the Laker girls. It'll be like going to a Playboy Club and also the Hollywood Bowl. So like, it's so hilarious. Oh, yeah. I mean, that's not the way we want to market the WNBA, Raymond. Trust me, that is not the way. And that is the exact opposite of how you should market the WNBA. Seriously. And it's not because they're not beautiful women. It's because they want respect and they don't want to be treated like sex objects. Come on now, Raymond. Jesus. All right, y'all. Have a great day. All the best. And thank you. And I appreciate that, G. It's like, I think you're right. This was one of the more entertaining, weird, funny streams that I've done in the last year. All right, y'all. All the best. Thanks again. Let's go Raptors and let's go Dub Nation. Get the job done. Don't mess around with them Celtics. You need to protect your home court. You really, really do.